Today, on a very special Positively Board Gaming. I always wanted to do an intro like that. I mean, it's a little dramatic. Did it give you goosebumps? Was it
I
dramatic enough
did.
for you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to know what happens next.
I know it's like coming up in a world where games are everything you need and want. Jamey Stegmeyer, Mitchell Whitfield, episode 25 of Positively Board Gaming. Who says I don't get to put my voiceover career to work here? Welcome to Positively Board Gaming. I'm Mitchell. This is Jamey. And we are here, Jamey, for episode 25. I didn't have to ask this time.
That's right. That's right. Didn't have to ask you. Yeah.
Kind of a big moment for me, I think. I don't know. I set the bar very low where I feel like if I get the number right somehow, yay, we have a good podcast episode. Yay, we've done it. Let's end it right now.
We did it. Yeah, I guess we'll cut it off short today. 1 minute podcast. We're done. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I just finished learning and playing a game, or being taught and played a game. That'll be my treat of the day. I love when someone else takes the time to learn a game and teach it to me. So that was a real treat that a friend taught me how to play the game Bamboo. We played the game Bamboo, a 90-minute Euro game. Kind of with bamboo elements to it, more Japanese theme, just a good solid Japanese name, I guess. Kind of. What about you? Do you have a treat of the day today,
Jamey? I sure do.
Yeah.
I'm an unapologetic Trader Joe's fan. I think most people I don't know many people that go, oh, I hate Trader Joe's. I've never really heard that. Yeah. They're not really a hateable kind of company. They really care about the environment. They care about customers. They try and, and they have great stuff there. So here I am pimping out, Trader Joe's. Like, no, they're not a sponsor, but we're here if you need us, Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
So I think I've talked about in the past, they have these individual snack packs. They're basically peanut butter in a very light, almost like feel-a-dough, light wafer, cylindrical little, almost like a straw wafer filled with peanut butter. And they had like a raspberry preserve little dipping thing in the other part of the container. So if you wanted like a little quick protein, something sweet, you get the sugar level up real quick. They're really good. And they're not that, in terms of calories and maybe a little high in the sugar, but they're delicious and something I've always gone to. Well, I don't know how long this has been out. As I reach over, you know what? I'll just show the box and I'll pull out. They've taken it to a new level with peanut butter and chocolate.
Oh,
okay.
Now you're talking my language. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, I found, well, we know Jamey's love language, folks. It's not been a secret. So basically it's a very similar thing to the peanut butter filled stick with, the dipping. That's the raspberry preserve. But this one is almost like a chocolate filled, little wafer, cylindrical wafer. And on the side is the peanut butter dipping. So I know Jamey's like, I see the drool starting to form, Jamey. And these are really good, especially the other one. I consider it a sweet treat, but it's more of like a quick protein fix for me, just to get a little bit of peanut butter, a little bit of sugar in my system. This one truly is a sweet treat. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup gone wild, because you also have the crusty cookie on, dough on the outside. I mean, it's lovely. So this has been my new little treat of choice, and you can get them at your local Trader Joe's. Have fun. And I think they come with like 8 or 10 in a box or something, maybe 6. Sorry, and they're delicious. Really so so you had an experience-based treat of the day, and I had a stuff my face at Trader Joe's treat of the day. I think we had
Trader Joe's for lunch today. We had a ravioli. They make these like raviolis or pastas where you just put everything in the pan. It kind of steams up, and if the sauce is frozen in it, and it kind of dissolves and becomes the sauce. It was a really delicious like mushroom ravioli that we had for lunch. So Trader Joe's we're doing great things for us today.
They really do. They have a lot of vegetarian friendly, vegan friendly, traditional meat based foods. And again, they also have like a frozen section, and then they have a fresh section. Where you can buy, they have freshly marinated. I think they do vegetables as well, but I know they have different chickens and beefs and different stuff if you're into that. So there's a really wide variety. Man, I really feel like it's Trader Joe talk today, but you know what? We like promoting or talking about things that we love. Yeah. Mostly it's board games, but why not show love to, other things? Speaking of which, do you have a before we start?
Well, today this is a little Stonemaier related, but I know you get excited about Stonemaier stuff, but as do I.
Yes.
And we kind of revealed 3 products today, so I thought I'd show them really briefly. We have
what did I miss?
The Wormspan Dragon Academy expansion.
Wow.
Wormspan.
Okay.
We have that. We also have our version of Tokaido Duo, an existing game, but our version of it, along with the separate solo mode for anyone who already owns the game but wants to just play the solo mode, so they don't have to buy the whole game again. And then there's a little surprise, and it is little, but our little 1 to 2 player cooperative game Smitten, we have Smitten 2 now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Same exact mechanisms, but new abilities on each card. You're trying to form these card panoramas. And it has a new artist, the Miko, kind of
that looks great
artist in the board gaming space. So that was our little surprise today. These will all be on our web store next week. But
wow. See,
with you.
This is what I love about Stonemaier and what you do, not just as a designer, but a business owner and developer and publisher. And we've talked about this before. I love the fact that we get excited about something and then we get half it the next week.
Yeah,
I love that. I mean, there are certain exceptions. I know we talked about Vantage in advance because, we wanted to talk a little bit about, that, and, then it was here before, and I was very happy. But there's something to be said for waiting until, the products are available and then people get excited. Like, wait, you mean I can get it next week? So now, people sprain their fingers trying to order and say, I know what I'll be doing next week then. That is awesome. Did you have a live video today, or did you do video today talking about it?
We did it. So today we're recording this on a Tuesday.
Yes,
Normally I do an announcement like this on a Wednesday when I go right into the live cast. But we have a pretty tight. We decided to do a pretty tight window, and I wanted an extra day in there. I almost did it yesterday, but yesterday was Labor Day. So it's a little different than normal. So I sent the newsletters for these today for like the Wingspan newsletter, and then next Wednesday when we launch them on our web store, I'll send the general big newsletter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It's always exciting when you get your things out there into the world. We talk about that, especially when it's, one of your games, there's this sort of nervous excitement about it, but just generally getting it out there and seeing the response and seeing people enjoying themselves because you're in a business where you're doing it to bring other people joy. I mean, at the end of the day, and to have that excitement of having it out there and receiving that joy, not that you need I need the accolades, but there's just an excitement knowing that people are now going to get their hands on something you've been sort of holding back on sharing and that you're excited to get out there. So I'm happy for you. That's really cool.
Thank you.
I like that.
Do you have anything else to add before we jump into our surprise topics of the day?
I'll keep it really brief. We'll go a little digital. I love my video games. Specifically, Diablo has been a franchise I've been a fan. I've been playing Diablo 4, which is the latest iteration of Diablo from Blizzard. And they made a bunch of changes to sort of bring it back to more what Diablo 3 was like based on input from players. And I'm having a great time. I sort of had a milestone moment last night because there are different seasons. It's one of the ways they keep the game exciting. They just have new seasons that have new things to do, new quests that are season based. And then you start a new character, do that season. At the end of the season, that character goes back into your main sort of stable of characters that you can play the regular campaign in if you want to, or the regular non-seasonal game. So I'm playing a season. I created a character and I finally was able to bring it up to the top level because, there are different difficulties. Top level is called Torment 4. So when you're in Torment level, it's not easy. So I got to Torment 4 and I got to solo the bosses really easily. And the big bad boss I was able to get last night. I was like, look at me go in season 4. I'm a monster. Now, I'm still tweaking. I could still get my character better, more optimized. But last night was a big moment. I actually fist pumped in the air very quietly. I was exhausted because my hands were going there. These fights are like dances. It's sort of like, I don't know if you ever play World of Warcraft or any MMORPG where the boss fights are sometimes these, in phase 1, the boss is going to do this. You have to run behind them. Don't let them get close. They're going to spray something on the floor, jump away. So that these dances, and you have to learn the dance. And then physically, you have to teach your hands, the muscle memory to do the dance. So I did the dance. I downed the bad guy. Didn't get the reward I was hoping for, but the reward was that I did it. So
congratulations.
Thank you. It's a really sad thing to congratulate your friend about, but what?
No, it's not sad.
I'll take it. It was fun. I was really happy. I was like, I beat him. Yes, yay me. Okay,
that's awesome.
If you've never listened, or even if you have listened before, we welcome you all listening right now or watching us on the Stonemaier Games YouTube channel. Jamey and I each bring a secret topic, and we don't tell the other one. That's the nature of a secret, of course. And Jamey, why don't you start off with a topic that I know nothing of, or at least I don't know what you're going to talk about.
Yes. Yeah, I think you will know. Well, I'm actually very curious to hear your perspective on this, knowing
Sure.
how much you love collecting games. And last week you revealed that you have between 300 and 350 games in your collection. You
Yes.
have a big
Yeah.
collection of games.
Yeah.
I probably have, I don't know, I have 4 shelves, around 200 games in my collection.
Wow.
And a few comments recently compiled into this topic. Someone mentioned the other day, they were like, "Oh wow, Jamie, I thought you'd have a much bigger collection of games." And someone else said that they were working on curating their collection a little bit and culling their collection a little bit. And they asked, "What are my methods for curating and culling?" You're already
Ding,
shaking your
ding,
head.
ding, 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 ding. It's finally happened. It's finally happened. Are you
Oh, do we
talking
have
about? Are you talking about the comment from Gary about
Yeah.
interested in hearing just how you remove or add games to your collection, dude? It's finally happened. We
We have an
have the
overlapping
exact same
topic. Oh
topic.
wow,
That is hysterical. So please take the lead. Go for it. I just had
that's
to ding, ding, ding
amazing.
because it's never happened before.
Well, this is good. We'll
Yeah,
go back and forth.
of course, go for it.
I guess I'll say this, and then
Yeah.
I want to go into why you thought about this topic. There are a lot of YouTube channels that talk about games that have like culling episodes where they'll have like a keeper cull, and I don't. I'm curious. Actually, I guess this will be the first question for you. I'm curious if you watch those because I don't want to watch those, and the reason I
Okay.
don't want to watch them is that to me it seems inherently negative to showcase what you're culling. And I know there are different ways to present that are less negative than others, but
Yeah.
and maybe it makes for entertaining viewing, but it just seems inherently negative to me that you'd showcase the things that you are getting rid of, the things that you don't deem are good enough for your collection. And I know
I
there are
get that.
probably other ways to do it. There's probably a variety of ways to do it, but it just inherently, I don't watch those videos. So I'm curious, do you, and so I wanted to do it in a positive way today.
Right, of
So I'm
course.
not even going to mention specific games. It's not about that. This is more about my process and
Yeah,
how I
but
think about it.
how we do it, how we decide. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, do you watch those videos when you see them?
Yes, and there's a
Yeah.
specific channel. I think it's a couple.
Mm-hmm.
I think his name is Johannes, and her name. She says her name like Cinnabon. She says it very quickly. I don't
Geneva.
remember.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't remember the name of the
Board
channel. I
Game
do.
Ramblings, I
Yes,
believe.
Board Game Ramblings.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
two lovely
They are.
folks, and I enjoy watching their videos. They take a really interesting approach to their keeper call. So,
Okay.
the game out, they each have a little paddle and they put up keeper call. And then if both of them, even if one of them says keep, they'll keep it. The thing that I like
Okay.
about it is it doesn't feel, and I'm sensitive to this too. I mean, I've seen like videos titled, games I played so you don't have to, or,
Yeah.
10 games I really didn't like, which I can't watch those because I feel bad because to me, those are unnecessary. If you can't find a lot of positive stuff online about a game, you probably have your answer without someone having to make a video about why they don't like a game, right? So that's a personal thing for me. The thing that I like about what they do about their keeper call is it's never because, oh, we both hate this game. I've never heard them say that. In fact,
Okay.
more times than not, we both love this game, but this other game scratches that itch we relate to a little bit more. If you can imagine, they do it with a lot more positivity. So for me, it doesn't have that negative feel, but I get to learn what they like about the game, maybe what didn't hit for them, or maybe what they compare it to. Because if it's a game that I like, I'd like to know what they compared it to too. Maybe I like that one as well.
Okay.
I think because they do it in a more positive way, and they both end up saying positive things about the games they're calling all the time, it doesn't feel bad to me. You know what I mean?
That's really good to know. That's good to know. And I do subscribe to that channel. It's a lovely channel. So I will have to watch one of those videos.
Check it out
At least
because I
give it
think
a
it's different
try.
than you think. Yeah, I think it's different than you think.
So we had some people comment about this. And I think you said Gary was the one that suggested it. What made you decide that you wanted to talk about it today?
Because I think, first of all, should I just really read quick what Gary said? Because actually, cut and paste, I have it up right here. So, and by the way, thank you, Gary. This was actually great because it spurred both of us to do this together.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the podcast. Thank you so much. And have a topic I'd be interested to hear you discuss. You've touched on this here and there, which we kind of have. So when curating a collection, deciding which games to keep and which to move on from, what criteria would you use? Why do you keep a game in your collection? How do they earn a place on your shelf? And then he actually gives 5 considerations. It's a game I really enjoy playing. I think I'll always want to play. Very valid. It has a unique or unusual theme. There's a nostalgic attachment to the game. That's number 3. It's a good fit for a specific group or people that are new to the hobby, or it has artwork / production that's so good it warrants a place in my collection. And I read this and I was like, what can I add? This is actually really good.
Yeah, Gary pretty much covered it.
And we'll talk about that. But and I have some reactions to that. But I thought I thought Gary gave some great reasons and really laid it out very elegantly.
Yep.
A lot of reasoning why people keep or decide to get rid of a game. What was your take on that?
I really like that he gave those categories.
Yeah.
I certainly have a few things to add to it.
Yes.
And I'll say that maybe the core framework of mine is outside the categories a little bit, and it's related to space. So I have the 4 shelves. One of them is just all Stonemeyer stuff. One of them is intended to be like my shelf of opportunity. But I've almost gone through it. There are very few games on there that I haven't played. I keep a pretty slim shelf of opportunity, and then my small quick game shelf, which is bursting at the seams, but it's, I can pack a lot of games into that shelf. But then I have my main 4x4 Calyx shelf, and it's I just read it. It's right over here out of view. And
I'm trying to see, but
no, you can't see over here.
Can't get my head into that frame over there. Yeah.
And my signal to myself that it's if I have games on top of that shelf, that is a little signal to me that I've run out of room a little bit, where I'm starting to stack things on top. And so I'll get to how I do it once a year, but that is my limit, basically. You talked about last week a little bit that you have games in maybe you have it in the room where you currently are. You have them in the garage space.
Yeah.
Do you have that limit to space as well? Or
I do.
Okay.
But my thing is, honey, sorry, we'll have to find another place for the paper towels and toilet paper because my new Kickstarter just got here.
Right.
So no, I try not to infringe on. In fact, I'm in the process now of this is really, I can't, again, I'm shaming myself for the sake of our show. So we also have a storage unit. We have a storage unit of opportunity.
That's dangerous. Yeah.
So yes,
of opportunity.
Yes. So things go in phases. There's stuff that I'll move in and out depending on if it's something that I'm moving into the rotation of stuff that I want to play, or if I don't think I'm going to play it anytime soon, but I'm not ready to get rid of it, it might go in the storage. It's really, and again, I'm trying to pare down my collection right now. So this is actually a very good conversation to have. And it's very hard because I do get attached to games. And one of the things that isn't in here, it's like, when you see a game, first of all, I'll walk by my collection in different areas in the house, as I've said, and just seeing it up there, I get a little, ooh, and I've read the rules, never like, oh, I love that it's there for me. And that's not always the best way to base whether you keep or cull a game from your collection. But for me, obviously, if I'm doing the math in my mind, then I look and I say, if I'm being honest with myself, obviously the stuff that's in storage right now is stuff that I'm not thinking of playing right away. I have to take a good hard look and say, okay, if there's like 80% chance that I'm not going to play this, I like the idea of having it. That's not really fair. I can gift this to a friend that will enjoy it, that will play it. And the great thing about that is, and this is not why I do it, even if it stays in your friend group, you're still probably going to be able to play that game at some point anyway, should you desire. Or your friend might want to bring it to the table. Then you get angry and want it back. But that's not nice. No take backsies. That's not good.
Yeah.
No take backsies. So I mean, have you ever had regrets? And I think I talked about this last week about getting rid of something from your collection and going, I really want it back now. I really want it back. Not from the person, but I really want it back in my collection. Has that ever happened to you? Or do you really separate yourself once it's gone? It's like, no, you made that decision and you're pretty cool with it.
It has happened. It's happened a few times, mostly related to my every other year family reunion. Well, I'll bring a lot of games to the family reunion, and if someone at the reunion really connects with the game, I'll just say, "Oh, why don't you take the game?" That's awesome. I'll sometimes do that with big friend gatherings as well. And every now and then, usually it isn't like it isn't a huge deep miss of it, but usually they're the types of games that go over well with a variety of people. And so maybe at some point in the future, I'm like, oh wow, I wish I still had Codenames in my collection, because I'm pretty sure this would be a fun game to play with this group right now, and I don't have it, so I'll just buy it. I'll buy it again.
Right.
It's rare for me to have. I know there's some like games where you really can only buy them once, or buy them once in a certain form, and then you can't get them again.
Yeah.
I've been lucky where I have never regretted getting rid of one of those.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's, but I want to hear more about your process, because I made like a little list, sort of like a mini response to all 5 points and how I relate to that. But is there a different way that you look at things, or a different way that you make decisions? And again, space is a huge thing. And, it's sometimes it's not good to have too much space, because, you feel the need to fill it. It's like, okay, I have this space, I should fill it, rather than, well, I shouldn't fill it just because I have the space. It should be based on need or want, or I really love that game. Let's get it and find it. So what else? What other criteria do you have aside from space that goes into your decision-making process?
Yeah, my main criteria. Oh, there are two.
Okay.
So I have two main criteria, and then we'll get to how I actually do it. And
Okay.
I'm curious to hear your two answers to those things. My two main criteria. One is if I have not played the game in at least a year,
Okay.
or if I don't foresee myself playing the game in the next year,
Okay.
in the year to come.
That's
And
fair.
there's a reason for that, for the year cycle that I'll talk about later. But
Okay.
the other criteria, I guess those are related. The other criteria is if Megan really loves the game and doesn't want to leave the collection.
Of
And
course.
that is always a fun discussion for us to have, because I think Megan is maybe a little bit more of a collector than I am.
I knew I loved Megan for a reason. I knew I loved her for a reason. Yeah, go ahead.
There are many games kind of on the bottom shelf of my shelf. Well,
Oh, wow.
I shouldn't spoil where they are, but they are on the bottom shelf, where I don't foresee us actually playing those games. But my wonderful partner has a hard time. She can hear me right now. I know she can hear me.
I think it's great, Megan. I respect and understand 1,000%. She can't hear me because I'm in your ear, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'll let her know.
Thank you, please.
But yeah,
here's my support. Yeah.
So we usually end up, when we actually go through the process, I'll be like, okay, Megan, between these two, can you pick one of them to go and one of them to stay, even though I know we're not going to play either of these games the next
Right.
time. Okay, so let's get to your this part of the process. How do you choose, and how do you think about those things that Gary talked about? And then at the end of this, we'll get to how we actually get rid of these games.
Absolutely. So first of all, what you said makes a lot of sense. If you haven't played it and you don't see yourself playing it, that's really easy.
Yeah.
So let's go through really quick what Gary said. For number one, is it a game I really enjoy playing? I think I'll always want to play those games. The ones that get to the table are good with so many different types of people. Ones that give you joy just by thinking of playing them. That's a no-brainer. So Gary, number one, couldn't agree more. Number two, it has a unique or unusual theme that isn't seen in other games. I totally get that, but that's totally valid, and that's a great reason. For me, it's not enough that the theme is unique. It has to be a theme that I sort of jive with in some way. Theme that, and again, there are games that have certain themes like, oh, you don't see that often. And if that theme intrigues me, absolutely. I don't think I do it for the sake of it being just, oh, they made a game about collecting red marbles. I have to get this game because no other game focuses on just collecting red marbles. Although that sounds kind of weird and cool. I will buy that game. Who am I kidding? So
I wonder if he's partially saying, like, if he finds the bird game that he really likes, and then he has that bird game, and then he can share it with bird lovers and whatnot.
Yeah,
you're
right.
Need multiple bird games, which I think multiple bird games could have a place in the collection. Multiple dragon games could have a place in the collection. But I wonder if maybe that's what I was thinking about.
Right. Yeah, I think you're probably right. So I think it's probably baked in a unique theme that Gary likes. So yes, that is reason for me to hold on to a game, because again, if it's a theme you don't see a lot of people, for me, like hockey-based games, Trick Shot, when Trick Shot came out, I was like, oh, I have to, and it was more complex than I thought it would be, but it's like, I have to have it, and I will always have it. Plus I got the painted hockey player minis, so you know me. So number three, I have a nostalgic attachment to the game. Yeah, and that's Gary, absolutely. And that's where things get tough, when emotions are involved. And again, what Jamey said, about if I haven't played it in a year and I'm not going to play it in the next year, and he'll explain that cycle in a little bit. That's very, that's using your head. That's an intellectual approach. Absolutely. And it makes perfect sense. For me, the nostalgia does have a place, and probably to my detriment most of the time, that nostalgia will probably have me hold on to something that maybe I'm not going to play, or maybe I'm waiting for that one person to come over and say, can we play? I'm like, yes, I've waited 6 years. It's been up there. Bring it down. So I totally respond to that. If it's a good fit for a specific group of people, new people to the hobby, absolutely. If there's something that I think, maybe is not something I would play with my more hobbyist board game group, but I know that people that are new, and I want a welcoming game that I know I could play with them or bring new people in. Oh yeah, I would 1,000% do that. I think that's a great point.
I think that's a great category to have in there.
Yeah, I really do. I really do too. And the last one, if it has artwork production that's so good it warrants a place, Well, Gary, now you're speaking my love language. I've been known to keep a game just because of the pretty dice, and I wish I was joking. Jamie knows I'm not.
Yep.
That's why he's nodding and giggling, because it's the truth. Yeah, and I think some of those games that have, I respect the work that goes into this, which is why I said before, I see like videos dedicated to like talking about games, I play that you don't have to, blah, blah, blah. I sort of like, ooh, because I know the work, even for a game that you might not like very much or not respond to, somebody put their heart into that and thought, I want to get this out there into the world. Someone's going to enjoy this, and that gives me joy. And I think having friends that do this for a living, and not just for a living, but have passion about what they do for a living, it makes me, and I respond to artwork, production, components, which can be part of the artwork of their artistic creation. So yes, I've been known to keep a game just because it is so freaking pretty on the table. Yeah. And then he talks about like a Venn diagram of like all these things crossing over. And that's like the perfect, which I thought was very funny, because I can imagine those circles crossing over each other and finding like those three games, like, oh my God, these are my, God tier games. Right. But yeah, let's go back to you. Let's talk a little bit, maybe if you want to talk about that yearly cycle, or whatever else goes into the creative process of de-gaming yourself.
De-gaming. Well, I wanted to throw out one thing that'll maybe segue over into that next step, or the final step, really.
Yeah.
What is your take on, I guess, campaign games where you've completed the campaign? Because, for example, we have Star Realms Legacy sitting on our shelf right now. We've completed the campaign. We've done it.
Okay.
There's a lot of components in there where we can't use them. And then a jumble of components that I think we probably could use in Star Realms, but it's going to take some work for me to figure out which of those components I can add to our game of Star Realms. And in the meantime, we have a giant box sitting on our shelf where we don't really need that. Do you ever keep campaign games out of like nostalgia? Because many of these you can't pass on to someone else. Some of them you can, but not all of them.
Okay. This is a great example, because it was something I was going to ask you about if you would want it. So, as you know, we finished Kinfire Chronicles. Love the game. And yes, I have to go through the process of like resetting all the cards.
Right.
And maybe some of like the treasure packs, because they have these bronze, silver, and gold treasure packs that you get to pick to open. I'd have to sort of find a way to repackage them so you couldn't see them, maybe put in an envelope and say gold. And it would take some work, but it would be worth it. And I was thinking, maybe, Jamie's talked about wanting to play this. Maybe I'll see if he wants me to send it to him. He can try it. And then I thought to myself, and this wasn't like, oh, I don't want to do something nice for Jamie. This was, and here's the conundrum. What if they come out with expansion material and you need the base game to do it?
That happened with Role Player Adventures. Yeah, they put out an expansion to the campaign game. Yeah, it can happen.
There you go. Totally. So and I was like, and because it's a game that I played with my brother and his girlfriend Nicole, and it's like, oh, I can't, because we love this game. We love playing this game together, and I was ready to pass it on, but I'm like, what if the next one requires having the base game? So you know what? I actually, when I go to PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia every year, I always see the guy who runs the company, and we talk about the game and what he has coming out, and he had the new Euro style game that just came out this past year, set in the Kinfire universe, and then there's Delve, and I'm going to ask him if there is in the future, maybe Kinfire Chronicles, will it require the base game? I'm not beyond asking that.
I think it's fair to ask. I think if you,
especially
if you tell them why you're asking, like you're not looking for a spoiler, you're just looking to say, can I give this to a friend, or should I hold on to this?
You're not even telling me what you're doing. I was thinking of giving this to a friend, but if I need this game for maybe expansion content, should I keep it or get it? Right. There's like an easy way of doing that. So so it's what was your question, by the way? I think, did I answer it?
I guess the question is, what do you think about in the process of culling, curating? How do you think about campaign games?
Yes. So that's why I would say thank you for reminding old man Whitfield what he was thinking. So I think for me, I have no problem giving away a campaign game at all. I want to share the joy with people. My only concern would be if I love the game and there is going to be more content coming down the line, I know I'm going to want to play that content. Am I going to have to buy the game over again? So, so that would be my only concern. But otherwise, I have no problem passing on games to friends.
Cool. Well, let's get to the final step. How do we actually do it? For me, mine is pretty brief. So I'll go real quick. One, throughout the year, if I play a game and I'm like, I really glad I played this game, but I don't think I'm going to play it again, I'll put it on, I guess, a fifth shelf that is a signal to friends that is a shelf that they can take a game from at game night. So they can just take the game from it. And
Okay.
like you said earlier, it is nice to keep some of those games in circulation with friends, just in case on occasion I might want to play them. But the main curation happens once a year at the Stonemaier Games Design Day, where I bring a bunch of games from my collection and just give them away to the attendees. I don't have a game for every attendee. It's because it's just however many games I'm pulling off my shelf that I don't think I'll play again. But I usually give away around 50, I'd say around 40 to 50 games.
That's awesome.
And it feels great because I'm giving it away to wonderful people who are joining us for that day. And I know they're going to a good home. And there is a purifying sense to it that I like, that I've cleared that room off my shelves and given it to someone who is excited to play it.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah. So that's how it's once a year cycle for me.
Yeah.
How do you do it? What is your method?
So, well, what I used to do was when I would go to game night, I'd bring some games from my collection that I knew I wasn't going to get to, or I thought, and I'd give them to friends at game night.
Yeah.
This became a problem because a lot of the games I would do this with were larger boxed games. So although my friends would be excited and say, absolutely, the partners at a certain point would come to me and say, look, the very reason you're giving these away is the reason don't give us any more of these. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. So I had to find more creative ways. So there are friends. I've donated games. I've donated games to different, like, Salvation Army. I've done Goodwill. And, I just think if there are places where people are going to look for shelter or safety or be able to buy things at cheaper and want some joy, maybe someone will see this and find some joy in it. So it gives me, I've never gotten into the selling a game online, although I probably could, because you know how I keep my things. By the way, we talk about this stuff. They're pristine with upgraded components. Selling them to me, I don't know. I'd rather gift them and have people get the joy, whether it's someone I don't know going through a hard time and being able to finding this game and go, oh, this is great, let me do this. Or friends or family, I try and pass them on. So that's usually the way that I do it. But I love the way that you do it. And the people must be super excited when they get these, especially getting them from you. Because now they're not just getting a game, going to an event and getting a game. They're getting a game from Jamey Stegmaier. That's what have people ask you to sign them when they take them?
Oh, well, they're not necessarily, most of them aren't Stonemaier games. So
that's true.
Yeah. So I don't,
that's true, because you have a lot of stuff that you play throughout the year, and if there's stuff that then okay, you still sign them. It's still pretty cool. I wanted to bring up one thing that I have a huge problem with. That's tough for me.
Okay.
I find a lot of stuff that I haven't gotten to and that I can't get rid of. Going back to that campaign, either dungeon crawl, adventure / RPG style tabletop game, I have a huge problem letting go. The reason is, and again, this is kind of like, this is pure emotion. This is not using my head. This isn't smart in any way. I don't think this is a great way to feel about these things. But when I see these worlds that people create that I know are on the shelf waiting for me, if I want to have an experience in that world, whether it's feudal Japan, whether it's a Western with monsters, this in space, and there are all these different places. And I think this is why I respond to Vantage so much. When I know there's a world waiting for me that's holding so much surprise and intrigue and drama and loot and people that you get to meet and you get to hear their stories, it kills me to give away the potential of experiencing that. Again, it's not a smart way of looking at it, but I see these games, and I think that's what intrigues me, especially about these RPG / dungeon crawl. And dungeon crawl applies to a lot of different stuff. You can put, many things are dungeon crawls. You can have a dungeon crawl in space. And again, the research that goes in, again, I have one that takes place in feudal Japan, and it's beautiful. The artwork is gorgeous, and the monsters are sort of germane to feudal Japan and the lore of feudal Japan. So I was like, oh, wow. And again, it's like something unique. You talk about something unique, like, wow, I've never played that before. So even if I haven't played them in a couple of years, and I know I might not for a couple of years, they stick around because it gives me joy to know there's a world waiting for me somewhere should I decide to jump in. And I know it's not the smartest, but like I said, it's more of an emotional reaction.
Yeah, I mean, you have worlds on your shelf. That is a pretty cool concept, and I totally understand why they remain on your shelf. Yeah, that possibility.
I mentioned Vantage very briefly. I
Yeah,
must say, we won the other night.
you did. Oh,
We did. It
congratulations.
wasn't an epic victory because we
Uh-huh.
did it using a Destiny. That's not a
Okay.
spoiler if I say there were Destiny cards in there.
That's not a spoiler at all.
There are
Yeah.
different ways to win. You know,
Right.
you have your mission and you can have multiple destinies, and all you have to do is fulfill one of those destinies and
Mhm.
boom. And the funny thing is, we got stopped at a certain point and had which is, I love that you did this. You said, look, you get to this point on your track, you can just say, hey, we lost today, or
Mhm.
do this sort of check and see if you know, qualify, keep going. And then
Mhm.
if you lose again or if someone goes again, then the game's over. That's what we
Yeah.
chose to do, which I thought was a wonderful option to have.
Yeah.
And yeah, I managed to find something in my journey. I won't say, I don't want to spoil it because it was surprising and fun. I found it.
Oh,
We had
cool.
just pulled the Destiny card. I had just pulled on the next, well, a few turns later, what we needed to complete that destiny. And I was like, oh my God, read it, read from the past, read the passage. And we're all like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. And we all like, we won the game. And it was one of these things where we had to, the main thing, the main focus was we had to get like 4 animal friends. And
Okay.
I was the only one who had an animal friend. And I
Okay.
did it.
Yeah.
I did it in a very clever way. Lee and Nicole would have had me do something different, but they were like, go with your gut. How do you want to handle this? And I looked at the 6 choices. I picked it and I said, you now have an animal companion. I was like, yeah, I have an animal companion. So again, I love that it has those like fist pump
Yeah.
moments without being competitive and without being in your face. It's just a communal, yes, we did it. So yeah, so we won our first game of Vantage. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Did we lose the interwebs for a second?
For a very, very second there. Yeah, yeah.
I was like, it's going to be great. It's all I was saying. Uh-oh. I lost Jamie. We lost. It's the interwebs. So yeah, I genuinely love that there are those moments in a game that are shared, where everyone just is like in their sense of exhaustion and elation at the same time. So yes. I fulfilled my destiny.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And thank you. You made it so I could fulfill it. That was awesome.
Well, Mitchell, I'm so glad we had an overlapping topic. I thought this was a wonderful conversation about the process of curating and culling in hopefully a very positive way. And I'm very curious to hear what you, our listener, how you do this, how you go about this process, how you decide what games to that it's time for them to move on from your collection, and how you go through that process.
Yeah, and also thanks to Gary for putting this out there for us. It was such a good comment that it inspired both Jamie and myself to jump on. And you know what? You know what's funny? Shared topics actually work. It took like half a year for it to happen, but it actually works because we have different thoughts on it, and we can share our reaction and our sort of experience based on what that comment is. So it actually is kind of awesome. We should cross over more often, Jamie. It makes for a good podcast, doesn't it? Anyway, thank you, Jamie, so much for being here. We will be joining you again next week on Positively Board Gaming. So make sure you either tune into the Stonemaier Games YouTube channel to watch our 2 faces and our mouths open and closed while we're actually saying these words, or your podcast platform of choice and listen to us. You can also go to positivelyboardgaming.com and download or listen to any of our previous 24 episodes. So Jamie, thank you. You're a wonderful partner, and I will see you next week.
I'll see you then. Take care.